Good morning. Welcome to Now TV Canada, and I am just Jen YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jen. Now TV here in Vancouver. So I'm finishing up leftover batter. That piece had some amber honey that I bought, a big $10 jug from Costco on it. I'm always looking for healthy, natural replacement ingredients. To go back to the way we used to eat. In Jesus' day, when people had to do most of the stuff by hand, foraging for it. When we had a more clean lifestyle, kosher. What's the diet? Not the Mediterranean diet, although that's been around for centuries. Paleo kind of diet as well, right? People who ate a lot of fish and just loved it. So I'm always looking for ways of mixing beautiful recipes to put together original meals, stuff that I can put into my little cooking books. And if people have been watching the last few days, hang on a second, I just made a big mess. When I was sending messages up to Christopher and Cecilia in Svalbard, I showed that I have a nice tiny little book. This is book 2 out of a series of 3 this size that I'm working on. But I don't think that's going to be the plan. That's not going to work. Like, I'm just always scribbling stuff down constantly. I'll try something once and I'm like, oh, I love it. Or I have a problem where I will like, oh, that looks good, or that sounds good, I'll try it. And then, of course, I'll mess with the recipe. And I'll make it my own because I have certain taste buds and I know how I want it to taste. So then it's no longer the same recipe. So making the books, the longer books, is a little more difficult. So I thought I would do something more similar to what Christopher and Cecilia have already done. Thank you guys for the blessing and help me figure out how to do this, even if I don't have a second set of hands. Christopher has these little beautiful dinners all placed up on Cecilia's website, Cooking with Christopher. And I realized that's the answer for me. And I have my own website, futureproductionsonline.com. But it's been lacking on updates. It doesn't show when I'm going to be performing, where I'm going to be performing, what time. But it does list some of my poetry books and movie scripts. And you can get these where the writing inside is all black and white with the pictures, or you can fork over a little bit more money and get books that have color inside where the pictures need to be colored. That's up to you. So I plan to take what I saw them do and do that. I sent a sample dinner, which still missing a few things, to Christopher to try to impress his girlfriend with. I love their relationship. I love their friendship. I love how they get along. I love how they show how men and women can be best friends. And that ultimately, in the end, you should be. Like, if you're going to live together and be with each other for years, you should be able to fit together like a hand to a glove when you go to try on winter clothes, shoes, and stuff. So I just love that he cooks professionally and she gets to eat it. So I sent a sample dinner plan of the things I showed in the video to them, introducing myself to them. I took all of the recipes from different books that he could use. Now, what is missing is trying this Yakutia sweetbread that they fry up. I can't even say it right. Sakha Baahyla. It's just another form of bannock for a different part of the world and different nomads, the last generation, the last original kind that live outdoors in tents and stuff, but they have whirring heaters and things now, fans. They're not completely in the cold and just living off of firewood. I didn't get the recipe to send to him for this. The way they make it. In time to send it to him. But I want to share the recipe with you guys. The plate I'm using here to eat from has a variety of toppings. Once you've fried it and buttered it and set it aside, you can do all kinds of things with it. You can put brown sugar and cinnamon on top of it. You can put honey on it. You can put jam on it. I'm using 0 calorie, this sugar, powdered sugar fake stuff. It's like a monk fruit, but it's not the monk fruit name brand. And to give my own self that sugar donut you get from the exhibition kind of flavoring. And I did brown sugar and cinnamon, and then I had some that just buttered properly, and then I had a few that had some of the honey on it. So I'm just slowly chew away on those. So you can have a lot of fun with this and present this as a snack before a meal, or even just as, you know, a later evening snack when dinner starts wearing off. It's also really good as a replacement for dessert and watching your sugar intake. Nowhere in this recipe do you need globs of white sugar or brown sugar. So good. Sorry for making you guys hungry. But after yesterday's episode or attempt to go to Deep Cove and eat food down there out of the slim pickings of restaurants there was for me to choose from, I've decided, well, I had to make a change. And I found a couple of spaces where there's room for rent, like for business. Little shop around the corner, bookstore, workshops, for like knitting things and whatever. When you're doing canned goods like jam and stuff, or a bigger bakery kind of thing, or catering service. And I'm gonna do the little dinner plans that I saw them do, because I can handle that size of putting together original meals that people can be like, okay, I'm paying for that as part of the catering service. In my collection of books, I have actual step-by-step instructions. I have entire catering plans for 12 to 24 people and stuff, for kind of foods that nobody cooks anymore, for the kind of cooks that don't cook like that. So I'm going to put the ingredients for this below. I took a recipe from somebody that didn't quite do the exact same thing I saw in the video I watched, but this is what they have in their Siberian Yakuts sweet bannock. It's 3.5 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons baking powder, salt, 1.5 teaspoons. Remember to sprinkle some kosher salt in there, because everything you put kosher salt into really reflects in the flavor and results. It's unreal, no matter what it is, even on your steaks and fish. I'm a true believer of how kosher means kosher by using kosher salt. Anyway, it also helps reduce the amount of regular salt that you use, and you're going to get a better result in flavor while saving your heart and cholesterol levels from going up. Okay, so then it says butter, 1/2 cup of butter. If you're rich enough and have real butter, my family loves butter, but sometimes I just can't use butter because I go through so much when I'm cooking for myself. So you can use whatever margarine replacement you like, high olive oil, or I can't believe it's not butter, which I do love using because you can't believe it's not butter. And then their version has sweetened condensed milk, about 1/2 cup. So those little cans they have usually means about a 1/2 can of that. A little bit more, depending on the size of the can. I think they come in more than one size, but you can also use evaporated milk, which I did, the big cans, and I still have some. It's still going to give you the sweetness without needing the sugar. So it's about 150 grams if people need to the other way. So then you have to add some lukewarm water in, or additional milk if you're rich enough, or substitute milk like almond milk, whatever you want to enjoy for additional flavoring to the bread, which would be about 1 1/4 cups. One large egg is what the Yakuts girl I watched in the video did. I think it was 1 or 2 eggs. Anyways, don't go over 2 eggs, but a minimum of 1 large egg. And I think maybe she did it, but I don't remember. I have to watch the video again. But I would also add in a little teaspoon of vanilla. I'm a big believer on vanilla. So you can use vanilla, which will help. So then you mix all the dry ingredients in a bowl, and then you sort of make like a little hole, a center. And then in the second bowl where you've mixed all the wet ingredients, you then pour in the wet ingredients into the hole, or the center of the well of the dry ingredients, and then you slowly fold it in and mix it. And down there they have a handful of natural berries that they use all of the time and that they freeze so that they have enough balance of their needs met throughout the year, because they live in a land where the ground is basically permafrost all the time, so it's hard for them to grow. They don't know much. They don't have access to a lot of the supplies that would allow them to have more variety. But I just love how original their berries are. And so in that menu that I'm going to work on, the sample stuff I sent to Christopher in Svalbard, I'm going to have some of this. So with this fried bannock from Siberia, you can have the lingonberry. I can't say it. Brusnica. Bog blueberry. They have wild strawberry, black currant, cranberry. So these are berries you can have with that, which would taste phenomenal by itself. You can use the monk fruit as a sugar replacement to make it sweeter, or your sweeteners, so like the sugar twins, to be calorie conscious and health conscious, because the world has become too dependent on cane sugar, refined sugar, which we had never needed for centuries and still don't need. Quite often we can replace most of what we do. Even the breads we rise using yeast doesn't need sugar. We can just use honey and it works just as well. So that's what I'm working on trying to do. Because when I was growing up, I was raised on so much sugar. I was just fed the stuff by the bags. It was just nuts. I didn't know. Nobody taught me. Nobody told me. And that led to problems. I now have had to have cavity fillings. And even though I brush my teeth and whatever, damage is still done. So now it's like, bleh. I go into a candy store or a sweet shop, donut place, and I smell and I can't stay in the store. It's too sweet because they're making it wrong. And so I have to walk out. So I'm kind of hoping this will lead to, cooking with Jen. I know I don't always list the ingredients or do videos where people see what I'm making from scratch, but I have a reason for that, because I have a right to make a living. Everything I do is not free. So that's what I wanted you guys to know about with the bannock I made the other day, and my decision and what I'm going to do on my Future Productions website. And for this, I will list that new version of a bannock that people can try and mix it with all kinds of things. Your salmon in the morning, whatever fish you love, your fried eggs, your poached eggs, whatever. And that's like pretty much all you need. Good to go. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching me talk about my experience with the Yakuts fried bread. My wanderlust may not physically take me all over the world, but my mouth certainly can. All right, peace up. Now TV Canada, Vancouver. Help support me so you guys can order from my kitchen. Literally, that's what it's called, from my kitchen to yours. Amen. Have a good Saturday. Enjoy your time with your family, because you just never know how much time you got. My kitchen to yours. Bye. I've been making everybody hungry.